Over the last few weeks, I've been hard at work transforming my compact Macintosh into a synth. But this kind of program would really benefit from using a MIDI in controller, wouldn't you think? Well, I've got just the thing. But Square Wave isn't the only thing it can do. I can select the 4 tones synthesizer. So this gives me 4 notes polyphony. And you actually can change the waveform that you're using. You can also send it sound files with the freeform synth. I've got a few presets here, so let me use Indigo. And my favorite is the sound clip from Dark Castle. So as you can see, the square wave is limited to only 1 note at a time. If you play a second note, it interrupts the first and plays on the second. The 4 tones, of course, can play 4 notes at a time. The freeform wave is only limited to monophonic right now, but I have plans to make it polyphonic soon. And there's also MIDI out. Since I can already deal with the MIDI bytes coming from my controller here to the Macintosh, I can easily go the other way to a MIDI out to a Roland Sound Canvas, for instance. This is an external module. And we can pick the instrument that we want here. As great as a Rock Band keytar is, let me fetch a better keyboard. I call this project FireJam. The whole idea behind FireJam is simple. I wanted the Macintosh to sit in the center of real-time music production. It talks to the sound driver that you can find in the most ancient of Macs, and it handles MIDI in and out through the serial port. Having MIDI hardware makes it shine, but you'll still be able to do things without that gear. This is the most ambitious C programming project by far that I've ever built for the Mac. FireJam is a fusion of 3 different eras of my programming hobby. The first part is from some 20-year-old C code from a time when I was experimenting with Mac sounds and noises back in 2004. I was just messing with tones, little melodies, and basic sample playback. Nothing real-time and nothing interactive. The second piece was the help I received from a Joe VT from some vintage Mac forums. This allowed me to understand how to configure the Mac serial port into the settings it needed for MIDI transmissions. This was not obvious at all, and there's little quality information if you wanted to do it for the oldest of Macs. Finally, the last part comes from the fun I've been having programming another retro platform based on the 6502, which came out a few years ago. Released as the Phoenix Retro F256K2, but now being rebranded as the Wildbits K2. It's a powerhouse of sound chips. I've been conquering all of its sound options, square wave SN7s like from the early Tandies, dual SID chips from the Commodore 64 world, YMF262 OPL3 as in the Sound Blaster 16 era, the SAM 2695 MIDI modules in the form of a $5 chip, the VS1053B MP3 decoder. FireJam was born on that platform and I improved it for about a year. Now I'm excited to bring part of its features to the Macintosh, a platform that deserves way more love in the form of new homebrew programs. My plan is to adapt FireJam to the realities of the Mac and make sure it runs snappy on a Mac Plus. The hardest thing to implement was this custom piano control, which is this thing that you can interact with here. Instead of creating individual buttons, I coded a separate project which builds it all inside a single controller. It generates a CDEF resource that I then plug in my main project. It's self-contained and it means it can easily be dropped elsewhere with a little bit of glue code. As for what's next, here are my plans for now. Freeform polyphony so I can reverse engineer what Studio Session did on the Mac. Loading Studio Session instruments as playable sound samples, recording tracks and snapping notes on a given beat, exporting your creations as a MIDI file, allowing MIDI pitch bend, and whatever great ideas you can suggest, please drop them down below in the comments. If you've made it this far, thanks and feel free to do the YouTube-y stuff. It helps me know I'm on the right track for my projects. I'll put a link down below to the source code of FireJam so that the coders among you can see how I've done the things. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.